Hi, Manna family. We're studying the lives of some of the less well-known characters in the Bible. One of them is named Gehazi, and his story is told in 2 Kings chapter 5. Let me give you a little historical context. The nation of Israel and their neighbor Syria, or Aram, A-R-A-M, are constantly raiding each other's territory. The captain of the Aramean army, the general, was named Naaman, and he was a leper. The Arameans had captured a small Israelite girl who waited on Naaman's wife. This young slave girl told Naaman's wife that if her master Naaman was in Elisha's country, in the city of Samaria, with the prophet Elisha, he would be healed from his leprosy. It's remarkable that a slave girl would wish for her master to be healed. It's even more remarkable that Naaman actually acted on her advice. When Naaman came to Elisha's house in Israel, Elisha sends a message to him to go wash himself in the Jordan River 7 times, and he would be healed from his leprosy, which was an incurable and terminal disease in that era. Now, Naaman had expected a personal meeting with Elisha, and he became very angry and left. Naaman was used to preferential treatment, and he was offended that Elisha would not treat him like a VIP. After all, he was the captain of the Aramean army. Besides, Naaman said, the Jordan River is muddy and dirty. I can go wash in the rivers of Syria that are clean. However, his servants persuaded him to do the simple thing that Elisha had asked him to do. And when he went and bathed in the Jordan River 7 times, he was in fact completely healed of his leprosy. God's gracious healing of Naaman was designed to reveal to him that the God of Israel was superior to all the other gods. The God of the Bible wants people to know and trust him. Naaman acknowledged that God was the only true God, but then he tries to pay Elisha for his healing. If Elisha accepted payment for God's gift, he would be saying that God's miracles could be bought with money. However, God's miracles are gifts, so Elisha refused to accept payment for that healing. However, Elisha has a servant named Gehazi who is greedy. And 2 Kings 5:20 tells us, quote, "But Gehazi, the servant of Elisha, the man of God, thought, 'Behold, my master has spared this Naaman the Aramean by not receiving from his hands what he brought. As the Lord lives, I will run after him and take something from him.' So Elisha pursued Naaman. When Naaman saw one running after him, he came down from his chariot to meet him and said, 'Is all well?' Gehazi said, 'All is well. My master has sent me, saying, Behold, just now 2 young men of the sons of the prophets have come to me from the hill country of Ephraim. Please give them a talent of silver and 2 changes of clothes.' Naaman said, 'Be pleased to take 2 talents. And he urged him and bound 2 talents of silver in 2 bags with 2 changes of clothes and gave them to 2 of his servants, and they carried them before him. When he came to the hill, he took from their hand and deposited them in the house and sent the men away, and they departed. Then he went in and stood before his master. And Elisha said to him, 'Where have you been, Gehazi?' And he said, 'Your servant went nowhere.' Then Elisha said to him, 'Did not my heart go with you when the man turned from his chariot to meet you? Is it a time to receive money and to receive clothes and olive groves and vineyards and sheep and oxen and male and female servants? Therefore, the leprosy of Naaman shall cling to you and your descendants forever.' So Gehazi went out from his presence, a leper as white as snow." Gehazi's greed led him to lie to Naaman and to Elisha. Gehazi lied to Naaman and claimed that Elijah had really changed his mind about receiving a present in exchange for being healed. Naaman doubled the present, and then Gehazi took the presents and hid them in his own house. When Elisha asked Gehazi where he had been, Gehazi lied and said, "I didn't go anywhere." It's amazing that Gehazi thinks he can deceive a prophet through whom God has just healed a man of a terminal illness. See, greed blinds us to the truth. Greed also blinds us to the consequences. Gehazi coveted Naaman's wealth, and he got it. But he kept Naaman's silver, but because he lied about the character of God, God also gave him Naaman's leprosy. See, the lesson here is God's grace is not for sale. God is a good God, and he gives us many, many, many good gifts. And sometimes his gifts involve suffering and healing. In Naaman's case, it saved his life. Gehazi's greed told him that the money was more important than the gift of God, and that God could be bought with human wealth. He misrepresented God and lied about God's good character to Naaman, and therefore God judged him with leprosy. We need to remember today that God's grace is a free gift. It's not for sale. And we need to be about our King's business to tell people that Jesus loves them. Remember, God designed us to do life together